It's no surprise that Joe Rogan is kind of a big deal. People all over the world listen to Joe Rogan's podcast to hear his thoughts, his insights, and what his guests, which are usually quite esteemed, have to say on subject matter. So what Joe Rogan says has a lot of gravitas. It has a lot of influence. It has a lot of reason to be either concerned or even applauded, depending on where you fall in the argument of the thing that he's talking about. So I wanted to take a look today. Talk about Joe Rogan's views on being bald, on baldness, hair transplants, things like this. There are clips of him talking about this from time to time that surface online, as he himself is someone that has shaved his head, as someone that has actually had hair transplants, as someone that has dealt with male pattern baldness, androgenic alopecia, the thing that we talk about here on this channel. My name is Jay Kent, and here on this channel we talk about hair loss, hair systems, and being better men overall. Today what we're going to do is jump into the video with Joe Rogan. I'm going to react to some of the things that he says, what I personally think about what he says, and I want you guys to leave a comment below on if you agree with him, if you agree with me, or just what your general kind of thesis is on what he's saying. So let's just jump in, shall we?
I wonder, like, they're really close to curing that, you know?
Really?
Yeah. They're injecting people's brains with stem cells and fixing all kinds of weird shit that's going wrong.
How is that stem cell? I've been thinking about it. You asked me about it. I've been thinking about it.
It's crazy. So you heal like Wolverine.
This is something that we just covered the other day about stem cell hair loss therapy that's being developed right now, which could potentially eventually eliminate all hair loss, androgenic alopecia, all that kind of fun stuff for us.
It's very strange.
So, okay. Will it... How far away?
It's not gonna grow your dick, Ari.
Not my dick, my hair. What about hair?
No.
Why not? Why can't it stem cell that up?
They'll probably have something for that soon. I don't know, man. I'll never
Stem
go
cell
back to hair
cream?
again.
Pop your shit back up?
I like having a shaved head. It's so easy.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an argument that people make all the time. They're like, oh dude, why would I ever go back to hair? And like, being bald is so easy. I literally just get out of the shower and I just shave my head. I don't know if this is something that Joe Rogan actually feels, or if it just says it to coddle himself, but he is a pretty comfortable guy. With himself, with his life, how he lives, stuff like that. He doesn't really censor himself. It's not his thing. So I believe him, but not for me, you know?
So I got a good head for it. I look better with a shaved head than I did with,
round.
especially with the hair that I had left. It's just all sad hair, sad, sick hair, coughing, dying people. It's like having a cancer patient living on your head.
So
There's a lot of truth to this, you know. I think that the worst thing, really the only bad choice I think in, you know, kind of dealing with your hair loss is really not making a decision or not dealing with it. And dealing with it could be the shaving your head, getting hair transplants, getting a hair system, try taking some medication for it. But I think the worst thing is doing nothing, because like what Joe Rogan says, like having your hair loss happen to you and not really knowing what to do about it for years, and just like receding, and receding is a lot like looking sickly, and honestly just kind of, it's not a good look. It's like this transitory period where people know that you're going bald, but you're too afraid to do something about it, whether to shave your head or take other actions. So it's just kind of like a weird place overall. I think that action is always the best. I agree with Rogan right here.
Ross shaved his head too.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
That's why I cut mine shorter.
I like it, man. I like
Yeah?
having it short. Yeah, it's bullshit. It's like it was a waste of my energy.
You got a
Once I
round
shaved
enough
it-
head.
Yeah. If you have a flat back, that's the worst kind of head. It's like a laptop head.
Somebody hit you with a shovel
The
head.
back of your the back of your head just looks like a laptop. It's just flat like a book.
Luckily, Joe Rogan is blessed with a super round head and can pull off the shaved head look. Like, totally rocks it. Looks macho. Dude is buff, you know, quintessential kind of bald guy look. Don't all have that. He even makes fun of guys that don't have this. You know, he calls it the laptop head, which is kind of funny. I probably shouldn't be laughing too, but you know, head shapes are weird. Skull shapes are weird. And some people have like rolls on the back of their head. Some people have like dimples all over their head. You know, people have different shaped heads. Mine isn't even completely round either. Like if you go back and find videos where I've shaved my head bald, you'll see that there's like divots, like not huge ones, but there's some divots in my head. So, you know, we're not all blessed like Joe Rogan here.
Because it have whack domes. I
Yeah.
feel for them. But you know what, man? This doesn't look good with hair either. You know,
That
weird
hair.
heads. Weird heads are weird heads. What you need to do is get one of them, like a head, like a fake butt. Just put it in your head.
Implants. Some girls are like touching. I'm like, why is it all soft in the back?
That's probably totally a good idea.
Probably. Most people aren't touching your head.
This is a funny idea. Would you do this? Would you actually get like fat injections in the back of your head to make your head more round, or like somewhere in your scalp to smooth out the roundness? I'm really curious about this. If you would, leave a comment down below and let me know.
Well, you could always say, yeah, I was in a motorcycle accident. Oh my God, that scar. I love scars. They turn me on. Meanwhile, you just had a butt put in the back of your head, like a fake
Or it's
plate.
like it feels like a rotting apple. Just the consistency of it.
We were laughing at this, right?
Yeah.
But they do that to chins.
Put double chins in?
They put a fake chin in people. It's super common.
What do you mean?
They put a fake chin on people.
Who does that?
Plastic surgeons. I think they go in through the lip area where the teeth are, and they shove like an implant in your chin, because some people have like very small chins, like their chin is tucked up in their neck, and they feel like it's unattractive.
I know
And
chinless
so
people.
It's weird.
Brian Keith Etheridge. He's chinless.
Does it bother him?
No, he makes jokes about it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, so this was the first video about Joe Rogan talking about being bald, baldness, all that kind of fun stuff. And I mean, I think it's really, really cool that he's humorous about it. You know, he's definitely aloof. Like, he's Joe Rogan. He's got his opinions. He's not going to change it. But I just enjoy that he makes light of it. But I did find this other one that I wanted to share with you so that we could watch it together. Because this one, it talks a little bit more about Joe Rogan's experience and what he had to go through.
And you think it's gonna fix? I had hair transplants.
Yeah.
And I had my first one, I think, when I was like 26. I had 3 of them.
Why? Why so young?
Because my hair was falling out. I was freaking out. I was freaking out when my hair was falling out because I was on TV too. And I was making a living like as an actor at the time on news radio. And I was like, oh my God, my fucking hair is falling out. I had known it was falling out for a while. I saved it though with the minoxidil. And the minoxidil was hanging in there. But after a while, it was still falling out. And I was like, God, I gotta do something about it. I should have never done anything. I should have shaved my head from the beginning.
So what I think is interesting here is, you know, he's saying that he really kind of regrets getting hair transplants and going through this whole process, but he felt pressured into it because he was an actor and his looks were everything, and he had to maintain the way that he looked in order to keep his roles. Fear Factor, you know, roles in movies is like kind of the boyfriend. And I think he either talks about later in this one or in different videos. So it's kind of an interesting perspective, but he actually regrets it.
Kids ask me online, like dudes ask me, oh, I'm freaking out, I'm only 18, I'm losing my hair. Shave it, bitch. Just deal with that. Just accept the fact that you don't have any hair.
Did the hair plugs look bad?
It didn't look good.
Yeah.
I never looked at my hair and went, yeah. It was always like, oh, I guess I got hair up there now, whatever. But you know, the way they do it is like a single thing. You know, like it's not like the old way of doing it. But they take a big strip of hair, so I have this like big scar in the back of my head, like a smile, for the rest of my life.
I love this section right here because he talks about some of the things inside of hair transplants that I think that people tend to kind of like look over, and they tend to make like be way better, like the best alternative. When, you know, Joe Rogan talks about some of the real down to earth things, is people think like, oh, if I get a hair transplant, I'm gonna have the best hair in the world, it's gonna look just like it did before, maybe even better. When he's saying right here, like, dude, I never really looked at my scalp and I was like, oh yeah, this is good, like I totally have made it, I totally have the best hair now. He's like, yeah, it's all right, like I just have hair. So, you know, in contrast, like with hair systems, right, people are like, well, you know, at least with a hair transplant, it's your own hair and it's like, it's good and it's perfect. Well, you know, Joe Rogan's saying like it wasn't always the case, you know, and that he was on medication after that fact. And on top of that, he mentions like, you know, he has a strip on the back of his head. And many people that have got a hair transplant, people that watch this channel, have strips, like a smile scar on the back of their scalp because they've gone through these procedures.
I'd rather have that. Like, first of all, it's a good public service announcement. Like, if you're thinking about doing this, just look at my head. Don't do it. Just shave your head. And then the other thing is that it's almost like what you're doing is it's a screwball thing. Like, it seems like it might work a little, but then as you start doing it, you go, wow, wait a minute, isn't there options? Isn't there another option? And the other option is just let it be what the fuck it is and stop freaking out. That's the other option. That's always the best option, rather than getting knocked unconscious and they take a chunk of meat out of the back of your head.
So this is interesting perspective, you know, he's saying just deal with it, which is kind of like more stoic philosophy, which I get it. Like that's Joe Rogan's thing. Well, not always. I mean, like he does a lot of weird and reckless stuff too. But I mean, he's got a point. right? Like there's an ease to just being like, I'm just gonna get rid of it. But we're not all ready for that, and we're not all ready for that identity of being bald, and we might not all look that great with it. Some of us look better with hair. It's just a matter of fact. But I appreciate, the distinction that he's making, that like transplants are not the end all be all. It's not like, we wear hair systems because we can't afford hair transplants. No, like hair transplants have their detriments too.
Oh yeah, Jason, what's his name?
Jason Alexander, I think.
Yeah.
He wanted to go back in time just like 10 years, so it kind of looked like he was about to go bald.
See, why would
just to make it more realistic?
Yeah, he got like a super cool hairpiece, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because like if a chick wears a wig, it's like, no biggie, like
Right.
when Madonna would wear wigs, or when Lady Gaga would wear some crazy wigs, like nobody tripped. But if a dude's wearing a wig, there's something.
All right, that one with Jason Alexander, a little bit weird, a little bit not realistic, but I love the dialogue that he's starting here. First, he's like, Jason Alexander, he got like a super cool hairpiece, like looks good. Jason Alexander, he looks great, like totally. It's a good look for him. And on top of this, they're talking about like, why isn't it okay for men to do this kind of stuff where it's okay with women? Like celebrities, different ethnicities, like are very, very practiced in wearing wigs, and it's okay and it's considered commonplace. But if a guy does it, God help him, like he's an outcast. So I think it's cool that they're shedding light on that and talking about that conversation.
Yeah, hey, whatever, man. That's what the dude wants to look like. But for me, I can tell you that it was a big mistake on my part, and it was one that I made in getting hair transplants out of insecurity because I was young. And I was, thinking like, oh, I'm not going to have a career. I'm going to be a bald loser. Like that's what I was thinking.
That's what society drills into us.
Yeah, and if you want to have a solution to something, you go research it. And at the time, there's very little internet too, so it wasn't as easy to research things. But you find like a doctor who does it, and you talk to them, and they show you photos, and you're like, oh, this is gonna work. Oh, whew. Boy, I'm gonna fix my hair. And the next thing you're like, what am I doing? This stupid fuck. And I guarantee you, probably most women that wind up doing something wrong, whether it's a lip thing or a nose thing, where they're like, oh Christ.
Yeah.
And they look at it in the mirror and they're like, what the did I just do?
There's a lot of good points from Joe Rogan inside of this right here. A hair transplant is something that is serious. It's a surgery, and it's forever. Once you get a hair transplant, there's no going back from that. With a hair system, well, there is. You can instantly shave everything and just go bald. You can rock that look. It's not permanent whatsoever, something you can try out. What I will say though is that Joe Rogan really hit the nail on the head where he said that he was doing everything out of insecurity. He was doing it because he was afraid that if he didn't have hair, then this would happen, X would happen, he'd lose his career, something like that. Now, I always encourage anybody, if they're going to get a hair system, if they're going to approach hair loss, like you got to do it, not out of insecurity, but out of like, hey, I'm going to level up. This is something that I really want. Not out of insecurity, not out of fear. If you do anything in life out of insecurity, out of fear, it will drag you down and you'll wind up back in the place that you started with more insecurity and more fear. You can't operate from that mindset. It's something that will destroy you from the inside out. You have to rewrite your operating system if you want to change and level up as a man. Can't allow insecurities or fear to help you make any decisions. We've got to do it. We got to move towards something that we want, not away from something we don't want. Anyways, guys, this is my thoughts. I think that Joe Rogan has done a cool job of covering this stuff while also injecting his personality. I'm about it. I dig it. I like the fact that he even covered Jason Alexander way back in the day, like 2013. But anyways, guys, if you like this type of content, if you like React videos, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.